Richmond Council, like many other councils, have declared a climate change emergency because we have an emergency. Global temperatures are rising rapidly. We're getting an increased number of extreme weather events. We've had 2 very hot days this summer. We've had an extremely hot February, which is so unusual. And this has consequences for us in terms of the effect on people living here, the effect on the rest of the world, and possible flooding.
We know that climate change will have an impact on the River Thames and on water more broadly. For the Thames, we expect sea levels to rise. Globally, average sea level has been rising by 2 millimetres a year for the last century and 3 millimetres a year since the 1990s. We expect this trend to increase, posing a threat of increased flood risk in the future. 1.3 million people and £275 billion worth of property and infrastructure are at risk of tidal flooding in the Thames estuary. The Environment Agency and our partners, including councils like Richmond, have a long-term strategy to make sure we can continue to protect people and property in the estuary.
So we are seeing the impacts of climate change on biodiversity in the UK and Europe. We're seeing an increasing number of pests come across into Europe and spread into the UK from Asia and other countries. And that is affecting our tree species in particular in the UK. You can see around the borough, our horse chestnuts, oak trees are suffering from diseases that have come over from the continent. We're also seeing UK species of bumblebees with increasing temperatures. Their range and abundance are shifting further north because they can't live in kind of warmer climates. So we are already seeing the impacts of climate change in the UK and in the borough.
To reduce the amount of waste that we produce, because at each stage of the process, when something's manufactured, when it's brought to us, when we put it out for collection and it's taken away or stored or processed and disposed of, each stage takes energy, and that often requires the use of fossil fuels, which are a major contributor to climate change.
So air pollution is really important. The evidence now shows that it affects all people, no matter what their age, but it particularly affects the very young and the very elderly. And we know it has a big effect on a certain number of illnesses, from asthma, bronchitis, heart disease, stroke. We know there's growing evidence about the links with cancer, and there's emerging evidence about dementia and Alzheimer's. And there's probably a whole heap of illnesses that we simply don't know about.
The world's facing a climate emergency, and we can all do our bit to help reverse the effects. As a council, we're looking at what we can do. We're hoping to become a carbon neutral organisation, and we're looking to how we can reduce our carbon footprint.